Well, we are finally getting some more answers and questions.
Like, is Wanda in control? Who's really pulling the strings? And can someone please tell me what is going on?
Yeah. And we talk about all the relationships and all the drama that comes with it on this episode of the Feel Good Media Show with Kevin and Milton.
All right, Kevin, we are diving deeper and deeper into this WandaVision show. And I don't know what's going on.
I tried to watch this with my wife, and I think the phrase is "bless her heart."
and her phrase is probably "bless your heart."
Right? Yeah. She's like, "What is wrong with this guy? Why does he find this entertaining?" Actually, she does like it, but no idea what's going on, and I barely know what's going on. So when I try to explain it to her, now it's just like, read this article. Like, don't listen to anything I'm saying. Just.
I don't know why I get excited to share these moments with my wife, to just be completely disappointed in her reaction. Like even last night, we had seen the episode before, and I watched it again, and I said, "Oh," I pulled up the scene from Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, where...
Okay, you're educating her on the past.
Yeah, I'm trying to show her, like, babe, this might mean that the X-Men are coming into this show because this guy showed up, and I show it to her, and I'm just waiting for her to say, "Wow, that is so awesome and so interesting." She's just like,
boring.
I'm so confused.
Right.
And then she turns around and goes to sleep. And I'm like, woman,
wow,
what is going on with you? Why isn't anyone as excited as I am?
And we will get to relational conflict in a minute. But but to solve that, then you watched the episode with me this morning. The new episode, which I was like, why have we not done this? Because you keep telling me about how animated you are. And I keep going, I've got to see this in person.
I hope I didn't disappoint. Did I scare you?
No.
No. Okay. Oh, you millennials are so soft, man. Like, it's just reaction, man. It's emotion. Like, embrace the human emotion
there were
that
times
gets
where
involved.
I was like, you can be okay? Like, are we breathing? Is the heart still beating? What's going on?
Listen, I'm not that old that you have to worry about me having a heart attack, okay?
You got close. And we hit record, and so maybe we'll share some of that footage.
Yeah, we do have some of that footage. We'll shoot that over to our producer and see if he wants to throw that in.
Yes, all the points where Milton almost had a heart attack watching WandaVision.
Now listen, I'm in pretty good shape now. I'm I'm trying to work the belly down a little bit, but yeah, I should be okay.
Well, I mean, it's all very much justified because there are many like, oh my gosh parts of this series.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of fun to watch. And it was fun watching it with you.
Yeah, it was.
I think we should
awesome.
do that again.
Definitely. And just when you think the show's like, I mean, what else could happen?
Yeah.
Something else happens.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's questions on top of answers. That's what the show is getting.
It's an enigma wrapped in a mystery.
There you go.
Right.
But that's why we keep watching. So,
yeah.
So episode 5 and episode 6, right?
We are going to hit some spoilers, so, make sure if you haven't seen them yet, pause this episode, throw on Disney Plus, watch those two, and then come back.
Yes.
So you can get the full experience of what we're going to talk about.
The biggest reveal that we got was a little more picture into, is this Wanda controlling everything?
Right.
Is this Wanda actually... is her power really freezing town folks? Weird.
Yeah.
Creating the boundaries and expanding it? Or is someone else pulling the strings and controlling Wanda and using her power? And I think episode 6 told us that this is Wanda.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, maybe. I mean, there are parts of it that obviously she seems to be in control, but then there are parts of it that she says, like, I didn't do that. And then these things pop up, like her brother, and she admits that she didn't do it. So you're saying, well, then who's doing it? Who's pulling the strings? And in this final episode, the head of S.W.O.R.D. is becoming a more sinister character than we realized. And he
did escape.
Yeah. Could he be involved somehow? And I think Vision is going to become a key cog in this. What's why is everyone so interested? We know why Wanda's interested in Vision, but why is S.W.O.R.D so interested in Vision?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll see where it goes. I don't know yet. I'm confused.
We talked like, how do we discuss the show? Because now it's just a bunch of questions,
right?
And we said it multiple times already. Every answer we get, there's 4 questions behind it, so it's very hard to discuss what's going on. But yeah, if you want a bunny trail, go online. There's people
for sure.
talking about this show for days.
And now, I thought you were the only one who sent me article. Now I have members of my church sending me articles, and it's like you got to read this. Right. And then I don't read it right away, and they're like, "Have you read it yet?" And I'm like, I'm thinking like, relax. Yeah. But I do read it, and I'm like, oh shoot, I needed to read this.
My iPhone actually told me that I've now spent 17 days of my life reading WandaVision articles. I don't know how that's possible. But there you go.
Technology, man, it's ruining our lives. Unplug the internet.
That's right. So we've got a couple overlaying themes.
Yeah.
That we want to pull out.
Important themes, I think.
Yes. One being we're watching these kids grow up.
Yeah.
And so it's bringing up a lot. Now I have 2 kids. I don't know if you.
Same here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your kids are grown.
Right.
Growner.
Yeah. A little bit more than yours.
Than mine.
You've got high schoolers.
One, yes.
One, okay. I've got 2 in college.
14 and 12.
Yeah.
And have certainly watched them grow up fast.
Yes.
And not as fast as Wanda's kids.
No. Nobody's seen that.
Has there ever been a moment of time where you've just wanted to go, can you just grow up and we'd be done with this phase and just move on?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Some of those teenage years were tough. The terrible twos, I heard that term a lot, but it wasn't that bad. When they got into the dynamics of friendships in high school, junior high, and how, it's just the reality. Not everybody's nice out there, and dealing with that. I was just like, man, I just want this to be over. And when it was over, I was just like, whoo.
But then
goodness.
There's plenty of moments where you want to pause and just like stay in this moment. It's weird how life is. Fast forward and pause. I don't do much rewinding.
No?
I don't know if you do. I know some people do.
But you got to, man. You got to go back and relive those beautiful moments. I mean, that's why you take pictures. That's why you have videos on your phone, right? I mean,
yeah, I don't do that.
What is wrong with you, man? No, honestly, because you have the tough moments.
True.
And you have to soften those tough moments with good memories. You have to say like, this demon child that's standing in front of me right now wasn't always a demon child and probably won't always be a demon child. And you go back to those moments and you just remind yourself like, there's good genes in there. There's good raising. There's good moments. Be patient. Be perseverant. Be a good dad. Give love and pray and hope for the best.
I do. I think I've beat myself up a lot.
Okay.
And so, like, you did trigger me a little bit, just being honest. But I think it's true. We talked about this last episode with conflict. Yeah. Is that I blow through conflict a lot.
You like to avoid conflict.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, embrace the pain.
Okay. Yes. We've talked about this. And I'm horrible at that. So I think that probably speaks into a little bit about why I don't reverse. I don't look at those hard moments and I just kind of press forward. And so there's probably a lot to be gained from being able to hit the rewind button and enjoy the moments for what they are instead of remember all the hard stuff. So it definitely speaks into the relationship part of it as well, right?
Oh man, relationships. It was so well illustrated in this show, especially between Wanda and Vision, where we feel the conflict building, like it's going to that moment. And I don't know about you, but even in my marriage, there have been those moments where I could just feel like we're going towards this thing. And it's a little bit scary and it's a little bit dangerous. Yeah. And do I even want to go there? Yeah. Because conflict, no matter whether it's a marriage, it's a friendship, it's parent and child, conflict is inevitable in relationships. How have you seen that for you?
All over the place.
Okay.
Conflict has been.
You're just a mess.
Conflict has been a mess. Yeah, it's been a mess, and I've handled it. I've handled it poorly.
You think so?
For a lot of years, I do. But I do think God has revealed that.
Okay.
And so it's messy to admit that when you're struggling with it and you're trying to process it and do better, because I care about people, and I love people, and I want to do relationships well. I love my wife, I love my friends. I've made mistakes, and there's some damage behind in the relationship world. But I found a lot of hope in the ability to approach conflict.
Okay.
And how that is the process towards healing. And so we see that a lot in this show. Even there's some conflict between Wanda and Vision. How are they handling that, and are they pushing through it to a resolution? We don't know yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. This show did such a good job of illustrating the different techniques that people use to deal with conflict. As an example, right? Yeah. One technique is when you see Vision and Wanda just rise up into the air, like if they're going to go to battle. So that's one way you can fight, like argue, or even, it gets physical sometimes, right? And that's when it gets to a dangerous point. Yeah. Then you have the point where Vision brings something up and Wanda's like, oh, let's not talk about that. I don't want to deal with that. And it's that avoidance, right? Yep. Avoiding the thing. And then you have like going behind each other's backs, right? Like Vision is like, oh, yeah, you do your thing. And then he's like investigating and behind, and you have that kind of sinister way of dealing with it. But unfortunately in the show, they never demonstrated what I believe is the best way of dealing with conflict, which ultimately is the most painful way. That's what you avoid, right? You said that you want to avoid pain, which is go to the person, and this is scriptural, go to the person and deal with the issue. Talk to the person directly and say, we have an issue. I want to work it out. Let's sit down and work it out. Yeah. But the problem is that almost always requires the admittance of mistakes and the feeling of guilt. And the necessary movement of asking for forgiveness. And I know I've had to do that with my family many times, even with my kids, where you would think like parents are always right, they know everything. No, you don't always, and you don't always react right. And I've had to ask forgiveness from my kids, from my wife, and from other family members when I've been in the wrong, and it hurts and it's embarrassing, but it needs to be done.
It's good. That's good advice, and it works. It does work every time.
You've seen it work for you?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's hard. Like that process is tough. But I believe what you're saying is biblically accurate, and ultimately, God knows best. He puts this plan in motion for us to follow, not because it's easy, but because the resolution is good. And the hard part is when you go through all that and the outcome is not what you hope it will be.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely times where you can go through the process and then there's not the resolution you're looking for. But peace of mind for myself that God calls us to do that.
Yeah.
Even if it's messy and hard. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll see Wanda and Vision show the biblical
don't think so.
Of resolution. It's probably not in the Marvel
I'm not holding
comics.
my breath.
There'll be some more conflict going on.
Yeah, it's not helpful when you're surrounded by soldiers with guns.
But you can always turn them into clowns. That's my takeaway.
That was interesting.
I would use that to my advantage a couple times. I would just turn my enemies into clowns. Yeah. I think I would.
I have many enemies that I believe are clowns. You're not one of them, Kevin, though. I love you, man.
Very much.
I love you just the way you are, even though we don't agree always on everything.
No, we don't. Doing life better together. So, all right. So that is this episode of the Feel Good Media Show. But before we close, we've got to come apart with kind of the do good and the feel good. That's what Project is all about.
Yeah.
So Milton, feel good resolution. It comes with conflict. That never feels good.
No.
But what does feel good is treating the other person with respect,
right?
And how they deserve to be treated, and that ultimately is the feel good.
For sure. And the do good is to be courageous in your relationship. Like, be brave, step out and say, hey friend, hey spouse, we're not in a good place. let's work on this, because in the end, the relationship becomes stronger as you wrestle through the tough issues. So that's the do good. Be courageous in your relationship.
Awesome. All right. There it is. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Feel Good Media Show. And if you like what you are watching, please like, comment, subscribe, and then there's a little bell that lets you know when we've got new episodes out. And we're going to continue talking about WandaVision. We have 3 episodes left and lots of plans for the future. If you have something you want us to talk about, post that in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you soon.